expressed sadness over the derailment of the Abuja-Kaduna rail line. In a statement released on his X account, the president said he is monitoring the situation despite being far away in Brazil. Tinubu stated that his heartfelt prayers are with the injured, their families, and all passengers who went through the distressing experience, noting that he has been receiving updates and is awaiting a full briefing to ensure swift action. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau says 6 persons passengers sustained injuries, but no casualties in terms of death and no hospital admissions as well. The Nigerian Army says it is extending its role beyond the battlefield by supporting agriculture in Benue State, Nigeria's food basket. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede has launched a fertilizer distribution program aimed at boosting feed production and strengthening community security. Benue State correspondent Felicity Ndere reports.
At a gathering of community leaders, farmers and stakeholders, the Army rolled out its fertilizer distribution program across Benue farming communities. The initiative, championed by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Oluyede, is being described as a game changer for the state known as Nigeria's food basket.
You're supposed to be holding this one by your side. Even if you get exhausted of your bullet, you can use the spear.
Represented by the garrison commander, Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi Bako, the Army Chief said the gesture highlights the military's commitment to national development and citizens' welfare beyond its traditional security mandate.
Farmers need the tools and input necessary to make the land fruitful. The people of Benue State, the backbone of our nation's food production, will reap immense benefit from this intervention. And as productivity increases here, the ripple effect will be felt across Nigeria, enhancing food availability and affordability nationwide.
For many in Benue, the intervention could not have come at a better time.
It is something that nobody has ever done this. But today, we appreciate their gesture for bringing the fertilizer. They have brought it on time, because this is the time the farmers.
The Chief of Army Staff himself, Oluyede, sent his representative here to give up fertilizer to boost our agricultural farming. We are very happy about it. Then this thing has been flagged off. It has boosted our morale to go into more farming activities.
We have been affected so much that mostly youths in our community, in our society today, depend on agricultural products to sell before they get money. In most cases, in almost every village in our communities.
The initiative themed enhancing food security through community protection, defending the harvest, securing the future, reflects the Army's broader vision of distribution to national development, while sending a clear message that its mission goes beyond the battlefield and into everyday lives of citizens. From Konshisha, Felicity Ndere, reporting for Global TV News.
Oh, thank you so very much, Felicity. Benue State House of Assembly, in a dramatic turnaround under its new Speaker, Alfred Berger, has suspended former Speaker Andona Hyacinth Dajo for 6 months over allegations of plotting to impeach Governor Hyacinth earlier. Again, our Benue State correspondent Felicity Ndere reports that lawmakers in the same sitting also confirmed the nominations of James Dwem and Timothy Yangien Onuguga, a lecturer earlier rejected over multiple petitions.
After the emergence of Honorable Alfred Berger as Speaker on Sunday, lawmakers resumed plenary, continuing with the screening of the last 5 commissioner nominees forwarded by Governor Hyacinth earlier.
A motion came, the former speaker should be suspended. Reasons were alleged, seconded by someone. There was no counter motion.
Following the exercise, the House confirmed Onguga, who had been rejected last week over petitions from former students, alongside James Dwem. The confirmations were carried out without usual voice vote, as members who once opposed them raised no objections.
I write with the highest sense of respect on behalf of the government and people of Benue State to resubmit for your kind consideration the names of the following commissioner nominees, earlier turned down but not confirmed by the Honorable House.
The House suspended former Speaker Anduna Dajo after a motion by Tena Shimawa recently recalled from suspension over an alleged impeachment plot against Governor Alia.
Informed that on Thursday, 21st August 2025, Right Honorable Haisen Anduna Dajo, the then Speaker of the House, called the honorable members to a meeting and thereafter used their attendance signed during the meeting to initiate impeachment against His Excellency the Governor of Benue State, Governor Haisen Alia.
That the House suspended Right Honorable Haisen Anduna Dajo, Boko West State Constituency, from legislative duty for 6 months to allow him to have a routine on his action. He will serve a 3-month suspension.
Analysts believe the confirmation of previous rejected nominees may have heightened pressure on Dajo to resign, paving the way for Sunday's emergency plenary and the election of Alfred Bega as the new speaker. From the Assembly Complex in Makurdi, Felicity Ndere, Global TV News.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration has promoted 49 deputy directors to the rank of directors across various departments. A statement by Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social to FCT Minister Lere Olayinka said the approval by Nyesom Wike follows the results of the first ever computer-based promotion examination aimed at clearing promotion arrears from 2023 to 2025. FCT Civil Service Commission says the education officer cadre recorded the highest number of promotions with 20 slots, followed by accountants with 9 results. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has confirmed Ambassador Elia Umera Damago as its substantive national chairman after serving in an acting capacity. The resolution formed part of the key decisions reached at the 102nd meeting of the party's National Executive Committee in Abuja. Anietie Patrick has details.
Reading the communique after the meeting, PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba explained that NEC adopted the recommendation of the National Convention Zoning Committee. According to him, all national offices currently held in the North and South will remain in their existing zones, except for the office of the National Chairman, which remains in the North. Ologunagba added that the party has zoned its 2027 presidential ticket to the Southern region, stressing that the PDP is committed to a seamless and inclusive process as it prepares for its elective national convention, scheduled to hold in Ibadan, Oyo State, from Saturday, November 15th to Sunday, November 16th, 2025.
In recognition of the effort of the National Working Committee under the leadership of Acting National Chairman, Ambassador Elia Umera Damago, in stabilizing the party, NEC hereby ratifies and confirms the appointment of Ambassador Elia Umera Damago as the substantive national chairman of the party, with effect from today, 25th August 2025.
The NEC also reviewed updates from the PDP Constitutional Amendments Committee and directed that the proposed amendments be circulated to all party organs and chapters nationwide for further input. Furthermore, the NEC commended the PDP Governors Forum, the Board of Trustees, the National Assembly Caucus, and other party structures for their unity and commitment towards ensuring a successful convention. Meanwhile, the NEC condemned the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, accusing it of state-backed intimidation, manipulation, and violence during recent by-elections. The PDP warned that such actions by the APC threaten democracy and national stability, accusing the ruling party of pursuing Nigeria towards a one-party state.
NEC received and after extensive deliberation approved the report of the National Convention Zoning Committee, which recommended as follows. A. That all PDP national office positions currently in the northern region of the country remain in the northern region. B, that all PDP national office positions currently in the southern region of the country remain in the southern region. C, that the position of the national chairman having been retained in the northern region of the country, the presidential candidate of the party for the 2027 general election is hereby zoned to the southern region.
He, however, reaffirmed the commitment of the party to democratic values and the protection of citizens' rights, while vowing to mobilize Nigerians and work towards reclaiming power in the 2027 general elections. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Thanks, Annie. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says Nigeria has recorded a 46% decline in variant poliovirus cases compared to the previous year. The agency's announcement was made in Abuja during the second quarter 2025 review meeting of the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Healthcare Delivery. The meeting was chaired by His Highness Alhaji Sumaila Muhammad Mera, Emir of Aragungu. The Academic Staff Union of Universities says the union is prepared for what it calls the mother of all strikes until its demands regarding the 2009 agreements with the federal government are implemented. The University of Calabar chapter stated this at a news conference on Calabar, the Cross River State capital. The chapter's chairman, Dr. Peter Ubi, said it is time for the federal government to fulfill the lingering agreements conceived to lift the standard of university education in the country. A federal high court in Abuja has frowned at the conduct of a lawyer to Mohammed Usman, also known as Khalid al-Bawani, leader of Boko Haram dissident splinter group Ansaru, and 4 other suspects for failing to appear in court. Justice Emeka Winte, who expressed displeasure about the developments, issued a final warning to the lawyer and defendants in the terrorism case to attend court unfailingly on the next hearing dates of September 5 and 12. Usman is being prosecuted on terrorism-related charges along with other suspected members of his group. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has expressed solidarity with the people and government of Kebbi State following the devastating floods that have ravaged farmlands, homes, and public infrastructure, leaving communities displaced and lives lost. In a letter addressed to Governor Nasir Idris and signed by NLC President Joe Ajaero, the Congress commended the governor for his swift and proactive response in setting up a committee to assess the damage and recommend strategic measures for rehabilitation. While commending the state's efforts, Ajaero urged the federal government to urgently step in and provide substantial support to Kebbi State to cushion the effects of the disaster. He specifically called for immediate repair and reconstruction of damaged infrastructure, provision of relief materials to victims, and assistance in implementing proactive strategies to avert future occurrences. This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. When the rest of the AM News returns, Bayern Munich reached agreement with Chelsea's Nicolas Jackson over a loan move. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. We appreciate you staying with us, everyone. This second part of this news broadcast now returns with business. The federal government says it is strengthening ties beyond the continent, aiming to boost agriculture and economic growth, as Nigeria has announced plans to collaborate with the Caribbean nation of St. Kitts and Nevis in a joint effort to achieve food security and economic diversification. During a recent meeting in Abuja, Nigeria's Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, welcomed his counterpart from St. Kitts and Nevis, Samal Duggins. Senator Kyari emphasized that Nigeria's vast arable land and agricultural strength could drive transatlantic cooperation in food production, trade, and technology. He also noted that President Bola Tinubu's recent visit to St. Lucia laid the groundwork for deeper collaboration between Africa and the Caribbean. The partnership is expected to include knowledge sharing, raw material trade, and investments in agro-industrial ventures. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has called on the federal government to halt the implementation of the 4% free onboard charge on imports by the Nigeria Customs Service. The association expressed strong objection to what it termed as subtle reintroduction of the 4% free onboard charge in contravention of the earlier widely publicized suspension of the charge by the federal government. The manufacturers noted that the apparent reintroduction of the 4% onboard charge on imports effective August 4, 2025 came as a surprise, as the charge was commendably suspended by the federal government. And now to a different sector, the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, has disclosed that Nigeria's crude oil pipeline and terminal receipts are close to 100% due to improved security intervention. Speaking at the 2025 African Chief of Defense Staff Summit, Ojulari said terminal receipts of crude oil that were as low as 30% as a result of crude theft were now attaining close to 100%. He also said the company is beginning to win the war against crude theft's prevalence in oil-producing regions. And now time to go to the foreign scene. The World Food Programme, WFP, has warned that the aid Israel is allowing to enter Gaza remains what the United Nations agency has described as a drop in the ocean, days after famine was formally declared in the war-torn Palestinian territory. During an interview, Carl Scow, World Food Programme's Deputy Executive Director, says while there has been a slight increase in aid trucks entering Gaza, there needs to be a completely different level of assistance to turn the situation around. The United Nations had declared a famine in Gaza last Friday, blaming the systemic obstruction of aid by Israel during its nearly 2-year war with the Palestinian militant group, Hamas. Scow, who doubles as the World Food Programme's Chief Operating Officer, said over the past 2 weeks, there has been an average of around 100 trucks per day allowed into Gaza.
What we have seen over the past, let's say, 2 weeks is there is a slight uptick in the volumes of assistance that we are able to bring in. I think we are averaging now maybe 100 trucks more or less per day. But obviously that's still a drop in the ocean when we're talking about assisting some 2.1 million people. And so we need a completely different level of assistance to be able to turn this trajectory of famine around.
He called for substantial investment in food security, stating that extreme actions are likely to be considered in the face of food scarcity by those who have been adversely impacted.
We are in a funding crunch, and the challenge here is that the needs keep going up. We see some 320 million people right now being acutely food insecure. It's almost a 3-fold increase in the past 5 years. And that is now happening while the funding is coming down. For WFP, we see some 40% cut if we compare to last year.
The Rome-based Integration Food Security Phase Classification Initiative says famine is affecting 500,000 people in Gaza. Uyi Agbofwebe, reporting for Global TV News. Australia has expelled Iran's ambassador, accusing the country of being behind anti-Semitic arson attacks in Sydney and Melbourne. It marks the first time Australia has expelled an ambassador since World War II. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said intelligence services reached the deeply disturbing conclusion that Iran directed at least 2 anti-Semitic attacks. All right, now time for excitement from the world of sports. The National Sports Commission Chairman Shehu Diko has met with South Africa's Minister Plenipotentiary Lindy Nyelele ahead of the World Cup qualifier between Nigeria and South Africa, scheduled for September 9 in Bloemfontein. The meeting held at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja focused on ensuring smooth logistics for Nigeria's official delegation and supporters traveling for the match. Discussions also covered timely visa processing and other travel arrangements, with the Commission confirming that it has secured private sector support to complete government efforts. The chase for tickets to the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow has begun in earnest as Team Nigeria's weightlifters hit Ahmedabad, India for the 2025 Commonwealth Weightlifting Championship. The competition is the official qualifiers to next year's Glasgow Commonwealth Games, slated to hold between 23rd July and 22nd August next year. Among the team's standout athletes are Ruth Asuko Young and Eddie Young Omoafia from Akwa Ibom State. Beyond our shores now, Bayern Munich have reached an agreement on personal terms with Chelsea striker Nicolas Jackson as they step up efforts to reinforce their attack. The Bundesliga champions are targeting a loan move for the Senegalese forward and will now open transfer talks with the Premier League side. Nicolas Jackson's future at Stamford Bridge has come under doubt this summer after he slipped down the pecking order under manager Enzo Maresca. And that's all we have for you on the AM News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Remember that you can find us across all social media platforms, so you can engage and subscribe as well to all of our handles using @GlobalTVNG, as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe, saying a big thank you to you for watching. Global Morning starts shortly.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to Global Morning here on Global Television. I am Uya Mofwegbe saying we're grateful to you as always for your time with us here on our program. Incidentally, I'm flying solo on the program this morning. All right, a lot of things happening, so for a reason or the other, my colleagues are engaged on different fronts. So we're just going to push this slightly different this morning, but then again, it's going to be as enlightening as it has always been, because big conversations are lined up in front of us again today. Yesterday, for example, there had been the issue of the Abuja-Kaduna train that's derailed. Of course, it's not the first on that corridor. But then again, good thing from yesterday's incident is the fact that casualties were not recorded. I mean, no death. We're also hearing that there were no hospitalizations, even though we would make more efforts to be double sure what the situation is. I mean, the morning after, as they say. All right, but the president himself, all the way from Brazil, has also reached out to say that he extends his sympathy to those who have been affected by these very unfortunate incidents. Again, even though no lives were lost in it. And then he says, much as he's far away from home, it's not even anywhere close to Africa, he has his ear on the ground, following through with all of the developments regarding these incidents. And he also says that the federal government will support not just those who have been affected, but also the railway system in this country in such a way that we can do better. You see, it's one thing for us to have this system, this infrastructure in place, but it also matters even more how much of public confidence we build into them, because we must continue to ensure that people feel safe, people have that sense of feeling secure, as it were, when they board these trains. Some unconfirmed reports yesterday had said there were somersaults, the coaches had tumbled a couple of times. I mean, all sort of versions about these news came out, but we do understand that the Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau and the NRC, that is the Nigeria Railway Corporation, are synergizing to carry out a very thorough, detailed investigation in this regard to be sure what the, as they always say, immediate and remote causes of this incident are. But the good thing again is lives were not lost, but we must be able to stretch ourselves a little further to ensure that train derailments doesn't become the new normal, because they say if you do the wrong things long enough, they're likely going to become normal. So let's not normalize what is wrong, what is unfortunate, and what should be condemned. And that's the video that you're seeing right there. We understand there was panic in the middle of all this, as expected. I mean, who wouldn't panic, by the way? But then you see the video there, these actualities from yesterday about this incident. All right. Again, we're happy knowing that lives were not lost in all of this, and if anyone with a big if sustained injuries, we're sure those can be taken care of today and in the days ahead. But again, we must build public confidence in all of this. In-house political and security analyst, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar, will be joining us in the course of the program this morning to help us find contexts and as well as establish perspectives regarding this issue, because whether you like it or not, railway or train is one very innovative means of transportation, and as such Nigeria cannot afford to be slack about its own. We understand more investment will be coming into this subsector of the transportation ecosystem in no distant time, but we hope that there will be more innovation in that direction, and that we continue to work and rework the system. Yes, stakeholders have complained about vandalism over time. In fact, some people, by the time these news broke out yesterday, were very quick to say that, who knows, this could just be one of the fallouts, one of the implications of these incessant vandalism challenges that we've been dealing with in this country. But that in itself has to be addressed one way or another. How do other countries manage their rail system in such a way that they are not dealing with this same, let's call it, teething problems that Nigeria is grappling with? We need to find out about all of that, all right? Okay, let's take a break now. When we return, we'll talk a little more and so much more on the program today. Please do stay with us. Maybe we'll take a quick break from the rail derailment from yesterday, even though that's going to be a chunk of our conversation on the program today. When you go to Benue State, there has been crisis. This time, not about insecurity, as we have seen the last few months in particular, but it has to do with politics and the politicians in the state, particularly within the House of Assembly, that is the legislative arm. One speaker, now the former speaker, had resigned. Then, of course, by end of Monday, another speaker had been sworn in. All right, but by yesterday again, we understand the speaker who had resigned, some people say voluntarily, others say, well, he was under duress, he did it, he was under compulsion to do that, has now been suspended. All right, so you're wondering what exactly is going on in Benue State. One would have thought that at this point in time, the biggest conversation should center around how to improve on efforts aimed at tackling, all right, the spate of killing in the state, but it will appear that's not the case here, because this man who has now been suspended, that is the former speaker, is said to have been such that his suspension, all right, happened on the basis of working against the state governor. Well, let's say that is the case. I mean, let's just assume, without conceding, as lawyers will say, that he was suspended because he was playing anti-Alia politics, as some of the politicians on the ground in Makurdi have come to refer to it. The question is, in what way exactly did that happen? What exactly were those actions? Were they actions against the party, which politicians often refer to as anti-party activity, or were they actions against the person of the state governor, Hyacinth Alia? And in any case, how did that impact the governor? What are the implications for the state? Because at some point when you hear stories like this, you are asking yourself, hold on a second, are we not supposed to be having conversations that border squarely on the interest of the people of Benue State? Why is it that it's more about one person, which is the governor? I mean, these are questions on the minds of people in not just Benue State, but across the country, really. Because Benue State, as it is right now, has been broken on many fronts, especially as it has to do with insecurity. So one would think that the focus squarely should be on efforts geared towards ensuring that all of the triggers, all of the factors driving insecurity are tamed as quickly as possible. But then, again, who knows? It's just already the third year into the Alia government in Benue State. Add to that the fact that 2027 election is around the corner. So some people say this is probably not unconnected with the 2027 politics, where, as expected, as is always the case, Our politicians are aligning and realigning their interests at this point in time within the APC and outside of the APC. So, on a final note, that probably also raises the question of, has the Benue State House of Assembly been stabilized now? Does the governor now have his people in the assembly now? Can the executive and legislature work in harmony now? Well, hopefully we'll find time to be joined by some of these stakeholders on the ground, including our correspondents there, to see how much has changed in the last 48 hours of what has looked more like crisis in the Benue State House of Assembly. We'll take a break now. When we return, it will be time to look at the papers for you. Please do stay with us. Let's begin looking at the papers for you from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The headline above the nameplate here says, Tinubu imposes a 6-month ban on export of raw share nuts. All right, maybe that's a way of saying we need to look inward now and do something more indigenous with some of these raw materials. All right, bottom top left, it says Nigeria's there's a writer there that first of all says okay, we need to skip that to look at the next one here. ASU's protest disrupts academic activities on campuses nationwide. Those details are on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Osun drags federal government to Supreme Court over withheld LG allocations. The Star headline says, Presidency, Northern blocs oppose PDP zoning ticket to South. That story or that headline has several riders with it. Then you have a picture story of President Bola Tinubu alongside his host in Brazil, of course his counterpart, talking about Luis Inácio da Silva, there flanked by a gentleman and a lady. Well, what's more, you look at the right corner of the front page this morning, it says passengers scamper as Abuja Kaduna train derails. Benue Assembly suspends ex-speaker over Governor Alias impeachment move. Okay, well, now that's a bit of insight there. All right, Third Mainland Bridge mishaps, LASMA police FRSC DIFA. Ribadu hands over 128 rescued kidnapped victims to families. Nigeria records 46% decline in variant poliovirus cases. That is credited to the NPHCDA. Those will be your headlines from the Vanguard newspaper. Now, do well to grab a copy and read up details for yourself. As we now turn to the New Telegraph newspaper for you, where the star headline here says ASU winning protest, ground varsities nationwide. Two riders say as members kick against FG's loan scheme unpaid salaries. Ask government to sign Pact August 28 to avert mother of all strikes. And then above that, here it says Tinubu directs 6 months temporary ban on raw share nuts exports, with a rider that says products value will generate $300 million annually in short term. That is according to Vice President Kashif Shettima. Osun drags FG to Supreme Court over withheld LG funds. Asks Apex Court to compel release of seized allocations. Nigeria's Dansoho, elected Vice President of Global Ports Body, Tinubu congratulates NPA MD. Petrobras return will reignite Nigeria-Brazil economic cooperation. That's according to President Bola Tinubu. All right, Air Peace to operate direct flights from Lagos to Sao Paulo. That's one. There has a picture of Oscar Oyema, the MD CEO of Air Peace. What more do we have? We'll take it further down now, but this time to the right-hand corner of the front page. Senate to Nigerians, return to farms, solve hunger problem. Okay. Insecurity, Nigeria now killing field with 10,000 deaths, under Tinubu's watch. That's according to Obi. It says allegations untrue, baseless. APC reacts. On page 6 is where you find those details when you look up the New Telegraph today. 2027 existential imbecility ended as PDP zones presidency to South. That's Bode George. NSIB confirms 6 injured in Abuja-Kaduna train incident. NRC suspends service as NSIB probes cause of incident. Right, of course, that's a natural cause of action to take. The Nigerian Railway Corporation now says that all travels by train across the country have been suspended, and as such, as it stands right now, investigations have become priority number 1. We'll then wait to see what the outcome of this investigation will be, because that will essentially determine what happens going forward. All right, let's see just one more headline from the New Telegraph today for you. It says BPA replacements in food packaging might pose fertility risk. That's according to study, all right, which you find on page 30 of the New Telegraph. All right, those are the headlines from the News Telegraph. The New Telegraph. Now let's turn to the Blueprint newspaper for you, and we begin with the star headline on the front page of the Blueprint. It says no hiding place for criminals terrorizing Nigerian citizens. That's National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu there talking. Hands over 128 rescued captives to Zamfara government. Governor Nasir recommends security agencies on resilience. Al-Banawi terror suspects warned over absence in court. 2027 ADC attacks APC, PDP over zoning, silent on Atiku's ambition. Of course, the man has said he will run. All right. So bring it down further a little now, or just let's look it up a little under the nameplate. Atletico Madrid in touch with Atalanta over Lookman transfer. Benue Assembly suspends sacked Speaker Hyacinth Dajo. All right, 6 injured in Abuja-Kaduna train accident. NSIB begins probe. NEMA assesses damage. Uba Sani commiserates with victims. divided droughts, dividend droughts hits 1/3 of NGX listed shares. All right, but those are your big headlines this morning from the Blueprint newspaper. Details await you when you look up the paper today, but we have to also turn to a different paper altogether, and that is the Nigerian Tribune. For you, let's begin with the headlines above the nameplate, top left corner first. It says ASU says patience with FG runs thin as protests sweep campuses. Threatens total strike after August 28 talks. Court orders 6 banks to furnish IGP with account details linked to Showore. Another court orders forfeiture of 5 billion naira in shares linked to ex-army general. And then to the Star headline, Osun takes FG to Supreme Court over withheld LG allocations. What does the writer say? Challenges transfer of LG funds case to Abuja. 7 injured as Abuja Kaduna train derails. 618 people on board. NEMA leads rescue team. NSIB commences investigation. Passengers have been complaining before derailment. That's according to Shehu Sani, the former senator from Kogi. I should say from Kaduna State. All right, what more do we have? A few more headlines for you. Oyo partners firm to develop Oluyole Free Trade Zone. With a rider that tells us zone will boost economy, create 5,000 direct jobs in 24 months. Awujale's tool, Ogun government constitutes 11-member administrative body in Ijebu-Ode. And then a bit of health now for you. Sugary drinks increase hair loss risk, scientists warn. NSA hands over 128 rescued Zamfara kidnapped victims to families. Vows to hunt down bandits. That would be great, no doubt about it. But then we'll leave it there with the Nigerian Tribune this morning as we take a turn now to the Punch newspaper, which will be our last before we take a break now, and then look more at the papers for you as well. The big headline here on the front page of the Punch newspaper says 2027 PDP ticket zoning to South splits North. Parties northern stakeholders to review decision next week. Move may favor Tinubu's re-election, warn Arewa youths. Zoning fair to South, says Middle Belt. Alright, one must have been another mass poison right there. Probe begins as Abuja Kaduna train mishap injures 6. And then top right corner of the paper, ASU protest rocks campuses ahead of federal government talks. 239 first-class lecturers quit UNILAG over poor pay. That's according to former Vice Chancellor. That's quite sad. The number is huge. 239 first-class lecturers quit UNILAG over poor pay. U.S. court jails Osun monarch over $4.2 million COVID-19 fraud. Those details are on page 29 of today's issue of the Punch newspaper. All right, look up details for yourself by all means, so you can stay ahead of the news, avoid fake news as well as misinformation. Let's take a quick break now. When we return, we have a few more papers to look at for you. Please do stay with us.
your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Oh, thank you for staying with us, everyone. Let's now return to the papers for you. This time we're turning to the Nation newspaper, beginning with the headlines above the name mast here. The first has a picture of Ekiti State's governor. It says, Oyebanji, no one can pit Ekiti against Tinubu. Governor, two others pick forms. Of course, there's the election in Ekiti State next year, for the records. PDP regrets fielding Atiku in 2023, says Abba Moro. Why does the party suddenly regret? What were the elements that formed the basis for that decision 2 years ago? Well, read up those details on page 3 of the Nation newspaper today. All right, top right corner. Benue Assembly suspends ex-speaker for anti-Alia plot. Nigeria's Dan Soho elected VP of Global Ports body. Just beneath the nameplate, it says Minister opens talks with ASU as varsity lecturers stage warning protests. To the Star headline here, oil giant Petrobras return is key gain of Tinubu's Brazil visit. Okay, it says Airpeace clearance for Lagos Sao Paulo direct flights excites president. And then further down to the left side of it, NSA reunites 128 rescued victims with families. Abuja Kaduna train derailment. Tinubu promises support. RHI leads 500 Zamfara women. That's a Renewed Hope initiative that is chaired by wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Right? So lawmakers visit Olubadan designates. You find out on page 5 of the Nation newspaper this morning. All right, we have next here the Nigerian Tribune, okay, which also has a handful of headlines for you. Okay, let's begin with the Star headline. Osun takes FG to Supreme Court over withheld LG allocations. That story is replicated across news dailies today. Challenges transfer of LG funds case to Abuja. And then above the name masts, top right corner this morning, courts orders 6 banks to furnish IGP with account details linked to Showore. Another court orders forfeiture of 5 billion naira in shares linked to ex-army general. ASU says patience with fellow governments runs thin as protests sweep campuses, threatens total strike after August 28 talks. Those are also big headlines for you this morning. But that will take us to the next paper now, the Daily Times newspaper. We'll begin looking at the headlines above the nameplates there on the Daily Times this morning. It says NSIB NRC commence investigation into Kaduna train derailment. Tinubu orders ban of share nuts exports. The big one says NSA hands over 128 rescued kidnapped victims to Zamfara government. NGX projects $90 billion market opportunity as Nigeria, Brazil deepen investment ties. Defense Minister engages Brazilian counterparts on security bilateral cooperation. PDP reps lament hardship, asks Tinubu to wake up to task. 5 arrested for raping minor in Bauchi. That's quite a sad incident there. Nama boosts air safety with NCAA certified ATC simulator. All right, those are your headlines this morning from the Daily Times newspaper. Let's take the time now and turn to the Guardian newspaper as our next port of call for you this morning. All right, as always, has more than a handful of headlines actually, but we'll begin with the ones just immediately beneath the nameplate. ASU threatens nationwide strike over run net demands. That story is replicated across dailies today. Court orders forfeiture of ex-military officers 5 billion naira shares to federal government. Insecurity, Tinubu to unveil revised national counter-terrorism strategy. All right, we hope that works for all Nigerians. Over 5,000 cargoes trapped at ports amid 2 trillion naira demurrage losses. On page 6 is where you find that interesting read. All right, says here poses over security contracts maintenance after 188th train derailment in 6 years. So we've been counting. Now we're hearing we've recorded about 188th train derailments in 6 years. Gunmen kidnap pastor worshipper couple in Kogi, Katsina. All right. Osun drags FG to Supreme Court over withheld local government funds. And then here it says, Rivers LG polls, police vow tough time for cultists, troublemakers. Electricity consumers raise concern over tariff hike, epileptic supply. All right, 2 more to go now. What here says, Pencom Mars new pension investment rules recovers 4.57 billion naira from 138 defaulting employers. All right, patients caregivers groan as power cuts throws Yaba Psychiatric Hospital in darkness. Parents caregivers groan as power cut throws Yaba Psychiatric Hospital in darkness. Please do want to read those details on page 8 of the Metro this morning. All right, let's move things up now to our last paper on the show this morning. It will be the Daily Sun newspaper. Adjacent the Daily Sun, it says withheld local government funds, Osun drags federal government to Supreme Court, and the writer says challenges transfer of case to Abuja. Will wipe out terrorists, bandits, others. With the rider hands over 128 rescued Zamfara victims. Kidnapping, 2.56 billion naira ransom paid in 1 year. Reviews reports. Tinubu to unveil revised national Terrorism Strategy October. That's just barely 2 months away. ASU members vote for indefinite strike as protests continues nationwide. Protesting lecturers shuts campuses, ongoing exams threatened. Again, Governor Mbak calls for Nnamdi Kanu's release. All right. Bandits on a rampage in Katsina, murder security personnel, abduct couple in dawn attack. LG probes Abuja Kaduna train derailment, suspends operation on the routes. Okay, so those are basically your headlines from the Daily Sun newspaper today. Please read up details for yourself. Be sure you stay ahead of the news to avoid fake news and misinformation. We're taking a quick break now. When we return, it will be time to join Ogochukwu Mobuno on social balls. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning Crew, and good morning to you, my viewers. I am August Kumobno. Today it's a beautiful day to look at what's buzzing on the internet. I must tell you that the internet lately has been buzzed with a lot of trending issues, and this one, which is the most recent, is a passenger train that derailed in the Abuja-Kaduna Railway. A passenger train traveling from Abuja to Kaduna has derailed, leaving several carriages overturned and triggering panic among those on board. The incident occurred along the popular corridor shortly after the train departed Abuja around 11 a.m. en route to Kaduna. The scene was reportedly chaotic, with people scrambling to safety in fear and confusion. There has, however, not been an official statement on what caused the derailment. Well, I would like us to take a short look at this clip. Wow, that's a serious one out there, but so far there not been any loss of life. They've not confirmed any loss of life, which is a good one. But then, there've been so much, deliberations on social media as to what exactly caused the train from derailing, what actually caused this kind of thing. Because if we keep going on things like this, I tell you, we might actually be losing lives. But I really want to assure Nigerians that things like this happen all over the world, everywhere in the country. We recently had one in Germany, so I think social media should actually reduce the tension, because a lot is actually going on there. Some are actually blaming the government as usual. Most times when things like this happen, they actually throw it back to the government. But I must let you know that sometimes it's not even about the government. These are incidents that are bound to happen sometimes. But again, they are actually causes. Sometimes we don't even get to look at the train if they are in good condition or not. We'll be taking comments from social media as regards this topic today. And the first comment is coming from Okechi MG. And Okechi says, people have been vandalizing the rail lines, stealing bolts and nuts, of course, even in the road. But this is not even rail line anymore. On the road, we see people steal things that are supposed to be covering gutters, or all of this. We've heard people stealing things, so even rail line is actually not, they cannot avoid that, the rail line track. People are bound to steal things like this, and which is not good. If you keep complaining about the government not doing its job, you should also know that from your own part, are you even doing your job? Are you being a good citizen? And these are questions that we throw to ourselves. The next comment is coming from Abolore, and Abolore says, bro, it's not only in Nigeria. You need to stop this negativity all the time. Train accidents happen all over the world. Nigeria is not the first vehicle, which is the truth. I just said it earlier. Train accidents happen everywhere. So I think if you listen so well, one of the passengers actually said this is not his first time of boarding the train, especially the Kaduna-Abuja train, but this is the first time he's experiencing something like this. That's to say that it's not an everyday happening. So something it's actually caused this train from derailing its usual track. And like the first commenter said, it could be that someone has gone to steal one of the boats or not. Nigerians can be really funny sometimes. Well, we are taking our last but not the least comment, and it's coming from MK Shortit. And MK Shortit says, not proud to say, but it's been warning. The smoothness of the ride had greatly deteriorated. That's to show that there've been signs. Actually, this comment shows that there've been signs. I think this person is actually a train user. For him to say things like this, he said the train has actually reduced. I know they are not using a fast train in Nigeria, so we don't get to even notice sometimes when things happen. But I would like the train service to actually pay more attention to it and look at the road. I don't know if there are people who actually go to look at train tracks to make sure that everything is in place, to make sure that we do not have issues like this or complain of loss and properties. I'm sure it's get it right. Who knows? It might happen maybe the next time we board a train might have a fast track train and not the the slow one, the choo-choo and all of that. But I know the government is going to look into it, and I'm so happy so far that there's no loss of life in properties. I'm sure you want to drop your comments, you want to drop your thoughts as regards this conversation we're having. Please do us use the social media handles you're seeing on the screen and be part of this conversation. I am August Kumobile, and Global Morning continues.
Thank you so very much, Ogochukwu Momono, for those perspectives regarding this train derailment, the Abuja-Kaduna train derailment from yesterday. Someone made a very striking point there. I mean, quite frankly, these are things that also happen in other countries across the world, including those we call advanced, civilized, sane countries, right? But the thing is how we deal with this incident in terms of this investigation the authorities say has started, what we are going to do with the outcomes, and more efforts that will be made to ensure that this doesn't become normalized. I think those are the things that basically matter going forward, because people must understand that across the world, people commute using train. People go to work in several countries, around the globe, every day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week using train. So it's basically a means of transportation. And in our case, for example, what we need to also do beyond all of these issues around accidents is to ensure that we expand the reach, the connection, because that's one way we can make it, if you like, ubiquitous, all right, in such a way that it's available across the country. So you don't have states or cities where train services are not available. This is 2025, as we always say. There are some things by now, as a country like Nigeria, we should be taking for granted already. Of course, like I mentioned at the top of the show this morning, this is the crux of our conversation this morning. We'll take a break now. After we return, you'll meet my guests. Please stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, thank you so very much, everyone, for staying with us here on Global Morning. Again, we cycle back to the incident from yesterday, the train derailment, the Abuja-Kaduna train, and the developments that have ensued afterwards. All right, we've seen responses, we've seen reactions to that incident, but across board, people say one thing that brings a bit of consolation in this incident is the fact that no deaths were recorded, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that at the end of this investigation, which we understand the NSIB and the NRC have commenced or just started, we should be able to understand exactly what led to this accident and what can be done to avert it in the future. To have this conversation, I'm joined this morning by Professor Ibrahim Abubakar, is Global Television's security and political analyst. Prof, it's always a pleasure to have you on Global Morning.
Good morning.
Let's begin with this. You are familiar with this corridor a lot, and you have also followed developments within our rail system in this country. When you heard that news yesterday, for example, what was the first thing that struck a chord in your mind?
I was not surprised.
Okay.
Because there was a past incident when some group of people were kidnapped on that track. And I know what went on, both in the security perspective, the people, and the nation entirely. I personally felt that some measures has to be taken from that period of time, but all suggestions made were like a drain on the basket. So the incident of yesterday was not different from that incident, because the situation we find ourselves is a situation where people who are not security knowledgeable manage our security sectors, and that has bring us to a perspective where we still live in the past and in the old. The security training we are giving today still remain on that part of the old, the part of the past. Whereas by this age and stage and modernization everywhere in the world, we are supposed to have trained security sector members and administrators and managers on specialized areas. So in security, we have in the template of citizen and human security, including environmental security, what we call transportation security. This is supposed to be a specialized area that will have taken care of this sector or this incident that just has taken place. It has no difference from what has been happening, because we don't have specialized areas. So till we get it done that it is not just take of arms, acquiring arms and the rest that will salvage us or save us from the situation we are today, then it is going to be the same pathway every day. But we are giving credit to people who don't even know the difference from this specialized area to this specialized area. People who have never been administrators and managers, people who are not in any specialized group, coming to take over the management and administration of our security sectors. So if you look at the security sectors today and those who are managing them, then you find out that we are still far, far, far backward. We are actually over 50 years backward.
Okay, that again is a concern. I mean, you and I have also followed how that's under former President Muhammadu Buhari, now deceased. We saw how former Minister for Transportation, Rotimi Chibuike-Amechi, all right, was enthusiastic about securing some loans from the Chinese government, and how that those loans, for the most part, were going to be plowed into upgrading and strengthening our railway system in this country. Do those efforts count for anything afterwards?
I really view that argument as a vague argument of somebody who wants to exploit and become an opportunist. During Goodluck, one Dr. Joseph Ogundu, Sokoli and Wasokli and myself presented a pathway to the president, Goodluck Jonathan, and Onano Menon was the Minister of Works. And the Wasokli from South Korea was ready to invest $3 trillion in Nigeria, on the rail, on speed rails, on roads, super highways that would have been leaving Abuja to Lagos, super highway that would take you from Abuja to Lagos for 5-6 hours, to Calabar, to Port Harcourt, to Sokoto, to Maiduguri, and
other parts of the country.
On that part of the country, and network it where also we will have a speed rail that will leave Abuja to Lagos for 2-3 hours. Port Harcourt, Calabar, Maiduguri, and the rest, speed lane, so that will bring down the aviation industry, because by the time you leave the main city to get to the airport, get a ticket, take a flight to Lagos, somebody who is living maybe behind by Church Gate here, going to Lagos, will have arrived in Lagos. And it is cheaper, it is faster, and that will have discongest Abuja, because you will leave Kaduna and get to Abuja in 45 minutes. Less than 45 minutes. So somebody will leave Mina for 30 minutes and is in Abuja. So if you have a job here, you can come here and leave Abuja, leave Mina to Abuja, leave Lokoja to Abuja, leave Jos to Abuja, leave Kaduna to Abuja, and that will have discongest Abuja drastically. These proposals were not acceptable for a reason that I am not going to put on the public now. It was because, but actually it was because of personal interest.
Okay.
Today, our roads are in deplorable states. The rail will not work because there is no adequate technology, there's no adequate provision, security provisions made for the rail. Now, the roads are not passable. So we fall back to air. And air is very expensive for the common man. We are talking of another increase again on air traveling. So what has the common man stand to benefit in movement? We are talking of food security. We are not talking of the farmer security. So the movement of products from wherever place of production to the place of consumption has become limited by transportation.
Right.
So we are stagnant in one place because we are looking from one direction. Food security, if you go to study food security by security dimension, not by what we say that this is Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. When you go to study food security by security dimension, a larger portion of it is the farmer security. But here we are, because there is no specialized area, we don't even know anything about farmer security. It is so new to a lot of people when I say it. So also it comes to transportation security. Can you move today and said in the next 6 hours by road I will be hitting Benin? It's not possible. Can you move today and said in the next 4 hours I will be hitting Bauchi? It's not possible. Will you leave today and said in the next 7-8 hours I will be hitting Yola? It's not possible. Really possible. There is no possible road.
The reason I asked you that question, Prof, is that, I mean, when you take loans, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You have to pay back your loans. Now, Nigeria is paying back those loans. But are we getting commensurate value in light of the reason?
That is why I said it's an opportunity for exploitation.
So who did the exploitation?
An opportunism. We don't need roads for we don't need loans for the development of our transportation sector.
So what are the alternatives to loans?
So when you don't need loans, you don't look for loans. They should do the right thing. They know what to do. I tell you, somebody from South Korea came in here during Jonathan.
The one he said was going to invest $3 trillion?
Yes, and the investment was not loan. It was not tied to any.
But were the terms friendly enough? What was the reason the Nigerian government at that time did not accept that proposition?
The government, we shouldn't say government, we should say individuals who exploit opportunities. How can you say, I want to invest 3 trillion in your country? We are only building toll gates. We also have what we have meaning motels and the rest along the super highways.
Right.
We have workshops, we have airpoints and the rest. That is what we have: filling stations and fuel stations and the rest. And we have toll gates with minimal charges. That is how we are going to recoup our investment.
More like a PPP model?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is the way we are recouping our investment. We are not giving Nigerian loan. And somebody comes to tell you that, yes, you are going to invest 3 trillion. Agreed. But $3 trillion, agree. This is a noble deal, but we need 20% of 3 trillion.
Upfront?
To them. So, as an investor that is not giving a loan, how will you feel?
But was that the case in this instant situation?
Very well. That was the case.
Okay, do you think, for example, because it appears, I've spoken with people, stakeholders from both the rail sector and aviation, there seems to be a bit of, if you like, friction between both subsectors because they are all in the transportation business together. Do you think, given what you know, for example, Prof, that there may be vested interests compromising, sabotaging efforts in the rail system? I mean, from the aviation sector, sabotaging efforts in the rail system.
If you look at what has happened yesterday, one of the people to investigate the accidents are from the aviation sector.
The NSIB people?
Yes. What is their business with rail?
Safety.
What safety?
I guess that is across board?
No.
Beyond the aviation sector?
Yes. They don't have any business with what has happened yesterday.
So they should stick with aviation?
Yes. They know that they don't have any parameter, they don't have any technology, they don't have any reason to be part of investigating of the real incident of yesterday. They know. So when it is not your specialized area, why are you involving yourself?
Well, they are collaborating. It's more like interagency cooperation. I mean, between them and the NRC.
There is no collaboration you are going to make when, or input you are going to make when an area is not your specialized area. The way you're flying, you are not looking for the black box.
Right.
You are not looking for you are not investigating a real an air issue or an air disaster or an accident in the airport. You are investigating a real issue. And what did you know about rail?
So you're saying they should rest squarely with the NRC?
Very good. But even the NRC, do they have the technology? Do they have the know-how? Because we have to go to a sector that have the know-how. Long ago, after the incident of the kidnapping on the rail track, there was a lot of proposals from the Air Force, from the Office of the National Security Advisor, from other stakeholders. And I drum it out that there is a need to deploy technology. There is a need. Somebody said cameras. And I laugh at the person. Why are you going to deploy CCTVs along the rail track from here to where?
You think that's counterproductive, right?
Very, very counterproductive. It's not going to yield any fruit because you can demobilize CCTV. I can walk into any place and decide to demobilize CCTV even before I walk in. CCTV is already obsolete when we want to talk about technology, vision technology. CCTV is purely obsolete.
So what is the, recent innovation in that regard?
Cloud cameras. Because you are not seeing them.
Right.
They are seeing you. You are not seeing them. So they give you detailed reflection, dimensions, and everything every minute of the day. Not drones, because drones are visions. You are seeing drones.
But they are also stealth drones that can fly past and you don't even have an idea anything has moved past you.
No, you still see drones. You are seeing it is something, whether it is silent or whatever. And you cannot use deploy drones from here to Kaduna because it is going the way the train goes.
Okay, the same pace.
Yes, so where is the loose end? The drones don't capture it.
The black spots.
Yeah, where there is a loose end.
Okay, you can't capture that.
The drone will not capture it because it's moving the same time. So at what point is it going to stop the train to say don't move, there is a loose end there?
So again, that is a faulty initiative.
Yes. So the only technology we can deploy on the rail is cloud cameras, which is giving you minute-to-minute details of what is happening. And that will have to go with a feed terminal system. Because from the feed terminal, you are washing everything that is happening to the main terminal. So all these suggestions were made. These are things that are not costing us the billions or trillions of naira that we are projecting for security.
Prof, I know you have a lot to say along this line, but let's talk about something else that has been much of a popular conversation around the security of our rail system in Nigeria: vandalism. I mean, one would have thought that's an issue we're already dealing with all the vehemence, all the resources we have. Can we also blame this on vandalism? Because that has been a concern.
When you don't have deployed adequate security on the rail line, anybody, you make it vulnerable. So why are you blaming the common vendor? Have you been able to secure the rail line? And the vendors came in. we are quick to develop structures and infrastructures without thinking of managing them or securing them. The vendors are not washing the human life. So if you say your main duty as a security manager or administrator is to save life and properties, that is properties. What have you brought to the table to say this is how we are going to save this property, the safety of this property, the safety of these people? So when we cannot do that, we blame it. Nigeria itself is a nation where nobody wants to take responsibility. Nobody. We blame what we are supposed to take as our inadequacies. We blame it on another. Even if Tinubu finish his tenure today and end his tenure today, the person taking over from Tinubu will blame all the other lapses why he cannot move forward on Tinubu.
The same way Tinubu is blaming past administration and saying that he made the economy in a bad shape.
Yes.
So it's a tradition, it's a cycle.
It's a cycle because from Obasanjo saying the military he took over from was a cost of some inflation in government. That is how the power that took over from Obasanjo said it is an inherited problem from the administration of Obasanjo. When Buhari came, it is also an inherited problem from and misgivings from the Jonathan regime. When now that Buhari has left, Tinubu came in, and this is Buhari regime that has made him not to function. So we continue to blame our inadequacies on the past. So everybody, to me, in Nigeria lives in the past and in the old days. So when we are thinking of how to renew and re-energize, reactivate what we are supposed to do, we are only sitting down in one place, aloof, thinking aloof on things that has happened in the past. Instead of bringing and re-energizing the system, know what we are going to do and build a pathway to follow, we sit down in one place and blame it on the past. So meaning you never had any idea of your own when you were coming into the system. This has nothing to do with the head of the nation or the president of the nation, but it also have to do with every fabric of the nation. Whether you are a minister, you are a commissioner in the state, you are the governor, there is no distinctive directions that we are following.
There are people, Prof, even in Nigeria here, who have said that, look, sometimes we overflog these issues. Sometimes we just put unnecessary pressure on ourselves over some of these developments. For example, they say that in other countries, even in some of these ones we call civilized countries, you also have derailment of trains. So it's not something that is exclusive to Nigeria or even Africa. What do you say to such arguments?
Yes, it is not a particular issue to us, but it really don't mean that we should not put measures in place for it not to take place. When you are building structures and infrastructures in these modern days, I'm not talking of the past, we are talking of the modern days, they employ what we call system security engineers. This is a building, for example. This is a structure. So when you finish your designs, these days they look for a way to secure this. So the system security engineer will bring up a system that will do what? That will also come with the design to secure the structure, to secure the premises. So we have primary security, we have secondary security. The primary security and the secondary security. So the primary security is the one you have used to secure this place. Assuming there is a fire outbreak now, we start looking for the secondary security, which is the Federal Fire Service. But if the primary security is here, which is called like the automatic fire fighting system, right, it will have done the best of it and contain the fire to a very large extent. Yeah. So if you go to some countries, they will never approve your design unless there is this system security designs for the structure. So we have not gotten there yet. So you can't build a rail system because there was a derailment in India and there is a derailment in Venezuela, in Argentina, in Nigeria. They still classify us as third world countries. Even India, even Venezuela, even Argentina, all are still classified as third world countries. So I want a situation where we look at our protective mechanisms. Our protective mechanisms first. That it happens in another country, will you allow it to happen in your country? The answer is no. Because we have to put the strings together and see that under transportation security, this is what we have done.
Talking about, well, again, maybe this is a proactive security measure. We are now understanding that the Nigerian Railway Corporation has suspended travel by rail indefinitely, of course, pending advice to the contrary. Isn't that a right step in the right direction in this regard?
For some time now, I heard that the train movement from Itakpe to Alaja, that is Warri, has long been suspended. And now we have entered Kaduna, Abuja. But I will also tell you that there are supposed to be free movement. And I made it clear here. If the road transportation is almost impassable or closed, we are now saying rail, no more rail. Then we are only going to work on air transportation. Air transportation now is now very high for the common man. Right. So if it is very high for the common man, what did you have now means that you are deprived of movement from one point to the other.
So you are saying you would have expected them to continue, allow the service or the Abuja Kaduna service to continue running?
Yeah, put the measures in place.
And continue your service.
Fix it. All these things we are saying now don't take us 1 week or 2 weeks to do. Put the security measures in place. Put tidying on everything. I know my Nigerian brothers. We are not the only oil producing nation in the world.
Right.
But we are the nation that has not secured our oil sector. We have the most spill every year, year in, year out. We talk of oil theft almost every day because we don't even know what we produce. You understand me? At the end of technology, and we pay some people to secure our oil pipelines and our oil infrastructures.
That's right.
Running into billions. So sometimes I think that can't we put a lasting lasting solutions for this? So assuming we are spending over 100 billion on securing on the security, paying individuals to secure our oil pipelines, or our oil infrastructures. If we have used that 100 or 100 billion to find a lasting solution to our problem, are we going to spend similar amount next year? So the country we are is a country of personal interest, where I want to give a contract to somebody and the person also have to pay me for the contract that I have given. So the more the contract rose, the more money or the more benefit I get from it. Right. So rather than find a lasting solution, so my own opinion is, why not we find a lasting solution? Why must we be cutting the branches every day?
So you are saying that we are avoiding getting to the roots of the problem?
Yes. We shouldn't be cutting branches every day. We are cutting branches every day. And it has become a norm. It has become a recognized practice. So when you come up with an idea that we can do this without taking loans, we can avoid all the loans. There are people out there who are ready to invest in Nigeria, even if it's going to take them 25, 30 years, 50 years to recoup their money.
Their investment, right.
Their investment. They are ready to invest. We are not supposed to award contracts to anybody and pay the person when we have investors there crying to do this almost free of charge. Right, so if you are going to, I'm coming, assuming you have a vehicle and you are going to Kaduna and there are about 2 or 3 toll gates, there is no police, there is nobody. So are you dropping 200 naira in these toll gates? That's 600 naira.
Right.
Then you have already avoided some insecurity measures because there is no police on the way. There is no road safety on the way. There is nobody on the way because the vehicles are well profiled for such movement.
Right.
And there is the movement card that you are carrying from year to. So your security is guaranteed. You are not afraid of any kidnapper. I am very sure everybody in Nigeria will celebrate it. The roads are good. They are the best of roads. Everybody in Nigeria will celebrate it. Because if you enter that road, one military man is there, one policeman is there, one road safety man is there. The roads are not good enough. They are not passable. What are you doing? You end up spending money that you are supposed to. So nobody, no transporter passed through that road without dropping money for some individuals that are not going to a collective revenue purse. So assuming somebody has spent $1 trillion to construct that road, and it's just taking 600 naira or 400 naira or whatever from all passerbys, and these dichotomies are not in mixed with it, and he can get his funds back, recoup his funds back in the next 30 years, and the road is beautiful, passable, secured, and everything, don't you think Nigerians will be relaxed?
Of course, common sense will say yes, they'll be relaxed. But
but in our own case, we don't want to do that. They want to tell us that the government initiative is that there should not be a toll gate. But did the government initiative also say that I am not going to be kidnapped along the road?
Very instructive question, Prof. But again, we also need to quickly catch our breath on the program. Professor Ibrahim Abubakar will talk to us a little more about a few other aspects of this conversation, especially as it also has to do with safety of other kinds, again, still within the transportation sector in Nigeria. All of that and more after this break. Please do stay with us. Your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Well, thank you so very much for staying with us. Prof, investigation has started apparently. I mean, the authorities say that they are looking into what the cause of these or causes may have been, and then use that piece of information to make some very critical decisions, all aimed at averting these kind of incidents in the future. I mean, what does your sense tell you Nigerians should be expecting from such investigation, basically?
Well, I am not here to say whether the investigation will come out successful, but I also believe that most of the investigations we have carried out in the past has not yielded any fruitful results. So we set up committees who will set up another committee and set up subcommittees and the rest to go into investigation. If you look at it, let me forget about the real thing that just happened, but look at the investigating report of Bellevue Airline. Let's look at the one of EAS. let's look at the one of Dana. Let's look at, so when you look at all this Sosoliso and the rest, so if we look at all these investigation reports, what measures has actually been taken and what has been corrected even in the aviation industry.
So for you, it's not so much about the investigation as it is about what is done after the investigation.
Yes. So when you look at it, when we come to the rail, there was an incident between Agbo and the Isha land.
Right.
Well, what has come out of it? We have an activity where kidnappers took transporters on the rail hostage along the same Abuja Kaduna route. What has come out of that investigation? So it's not about we carried out an investigation, we set up a committee, we set up a task force. That is not about it. About it is what happened thereafter. The aftermath of the investigation. That is.
Prof, is it also possible that these people, I mean, these agencies of government saddled with this responsibility can carry out this investigation, do due diligence, I mean, take all the care in the world to do their job, and then use this information internally to help better their internal operations? Do they necessarily need to make it public? Because sometimes it appears that's the concern Nigerians have. They are wondering, why are we not aware? Why are we not informed of the outcome of the investigation? Should that really be the concern? Should it not be more of how they apply the knowledge or the information gathered to better their operations going forward?
When you say Nigerians are not supposed to be aware, it was not a covert operation.
No, I didn't say Nigerians should not be aware. I'm only saying that why do we make that more of a priority as against what the authorities now do with the information they have?
No, why people take it as a priority is because, one, there is, after an investigation,
right,
where they are supposed to put measures in place which will mitigate against a repeat.
That's right.
So when there is a repeat, what did you want somebody to think about?
So it looks like she never did anything with the previous one.
No, it's just like you are somewhere. You trusted a friend or a relation or a brother or a sister and said, please, I have that piece of land which you know, I want to develop it. And what will it cost to develop this? And the person said, oh, it's going to cost this, that, this and that. And you send in the money. And you find out that no development took place. And you are now asking the person, what have you done with this? Then tomorrow you are still going back to trust that person again. How will anybody who has heard the story feel?
So I need to ask you this. How do we then strengthen our regulatory culture, if you like, in such a way that there can be public confidence in the regulatory agencies themselves? For example, you and I are here seated, and you are saying that from your own assessment, the NSIB, that's the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, should face their aviation mandates and should have no business coming into, an issue that obviously has to do with the railway system, where you have the NRC, the Nigeria Railway Corporation, for example. How do we better the operations of these agencies so that regulation can be a bit more effective than it is right now?
Let me bring it down for understanding of understanding. Under transportation security, we have aviation security.
Right.
We have road security, and we have rail, and we have waterway security, and the rest. So it is not just an issue of where are they coming in? They are under aviation security, which is a sub to transportation security. So if they are under aviation security, we also have on the road, we have the Federal Road Safety Commission. So in the rail, we have the Nigerian Railway Corporation, and in the marine water transportation, we also have MPA, we have NEMASA, we have Nigeria Inland Waterways.
Right.
So our regulation system is for us to first of all identify which sector, which policy formation, which regulation, which laws govern these sectors.
Well, we have those laws by way of acts. Every agency has an act.
It is an act of establishment. That is where we are getting it wrong. An act that establishes a particular sector does not drive that sector.
So what drives it?
What drives the sector is the policies that are formed after the establishment. You can decide today to say you are having this is a broadcasting sector.
Right.
So if you have a broadcasting sector, it is under the Media Act that you came in. It's Broadcasting Act that established it. You understand me? But after that, people don't understand that in security we have what we call the press and security. So the press and security now becomes a policy framework to rejuvenate the nation, awaken them from media loopholes, awaken them from media bullies, awaken them from foreign body intrusions, lifting them from the clouds of intimidations. These are things that are policies, not the act. So under transportation security, where we are, is not the act that established these bodies, but the policies that driven them. So if there is no policy that drive them, then the act is of no use. It's just like any other, even at our home. You get married, and you say, oh, I'm getting married, I'm only going to have 1 or 2 kids. Now, that is just your own perspective. You go into the marriage, then 4 or 5 children, even you are thinking of a second wife. So, is that your driving force? No. It's the policy that you make day in, day out that drive the sector, not the act that established it.
There are people who say that our train system in Nigeria is obsolete. They say time has, this train system we use has long been overtaken by events, and as such, there is an urgent need for an upgrade. Can we also attribute some of these accidents to the fact that we don't have modern day technology to drive our train system?
That is not, whether we are using a single gauge carriage or double.
Yes.
That is not the issue at stake. Yes, we can agree they are obsolete, but then whether it's still single or double or whatever.
The argument is even based on whether it's single or double. It's talking about whether or not we cannot upgrade to what obtains today, for example, like you have in Asia, like you have in even other parts of Africa.
Yes, we have not upgraded, but that is not the issue we are talking of. We are talking of the issue of security now.
Is security not easier with more recent
Are you going to say
innovation?
that they will not tamper with the rail structures and infrastructures because it is modernized?
Does it not make it a little harder?
No. You are using the same system. Is there any rail that is built without tracks in the whole world? There is none. So as far as there are tracks, and these tracks are there, it is the same thing that is happening now that will happen. We are talking of how to secure this sector. What you have is your priority.
Right.
So what you don't have, you don't have. And you cannot upgrade from nothing to something. And sometimes that is why even in our communication industry, we have not gotten it right, because we only interface from analog to
digital.
We have not interfaced to digital. It's not digital yet.
So where are we?
We only interface it to sub-digital. It's not digitalized.
So we're not fully digital yet with telecom system.
They know it. That is the truth. But I'm not going into that. We are facing transportation here.
That's right.
So the security of our structures and infrastructures is what matter to us today. If you upgrade and you are still facing the same difficulties, it's still the same thing. Because why will a train derail? It is because you have removed the track systems. Somebody has stolen them away. Somebody has picked them and sell them as peanuts somewhere. That is the issue. There was a period here when all the manhole in Abuja along the road were being removed. But when Tuji Disu, who was the CP, FCT command,
right,
came in and worked with the network, security network information system, and also with Sharo, who is the DC operations. When they take it as we must stop this, it stopped.
So what we need is the wheel.
Is the we have to do something that says, okay, this is what I have done. So are you telling me Olatuji Disu and Sharo was given an order from the IG? No. They know that the FCT is their area of jurisdiction and they have to secure FCT. There's no blaming song. You go to some offices where they will tell you, security organization who will telling you they are waiting for the DG, they are waiting for the IG to give them instruction on what to do. We are waiting for Mr. President. So why are you in that office? So if Mr. President is not there and 1,000 people or 2,000 people have to die, they have to die. You don't care because there is no order from above.
All right, Prof.
So that is where we are every day, and it is not assisting us. So today, security has developed from that human intelligence to engineering and technology.
And you are saying Nigeria has to embrace that.
That is where to go. Because I can sit down in the comfort of my room and see what is happening on all the roads in Nigeria. Will you want to cause any harm to anybody when you know that I can come and knock at your door in the middle of the night and show you your activities of the day?
That sounds radically innovative, quite frankly. Hopefully we get this on time. We'd like to say a big thank you to you, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar, for coming as always to share these thoughts with us here on the program.
We'll take a quick break now, everyone. When we return, we will unpack the rest of the program for you. Please do stay with us. Is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
As we begin to wind down on the program today, let's talk a little about politics and politicians, especially the People's Democratic Party, which some people, for whatever it's worth, still consider the leading opposition party in Nigeria today. Just this week, the PDP has held its 102nd National Executive Committee meeting. For many members of the party, it was, on the one hand, homecoming. On the other hand, it was also a break or make kind of engagement, and today we know better. Amongst other resolutions, the party now says that it has zoned its 2027 presidential ticket to the north, which means that in 2027 the presidential candidate of the PDP will by all means come from the south, I should say, I beg your pardon. But the north is not very comfortable with that, because in 2023, for example, there had been the argument as well of where should it go to, north or south. We know how that did pan out at that time. It eventually landed in the north, in the hands of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. This time, it will appear the PDP has taken the last 2 years to do a self-reflection or assessment of some kind to say, looking at the dynamics and the optics, where exactly should this go to? I mean, the presidential ticket in 2027. They say, well, the South will be better for it. But
political analysts and commentators are now saying that that might become more like a basis for President Bola Tinubu to have a smooth ride into the presidential villa again in 2027, given that himself, a Southerner, has been in office, would have been in office by that time for about 4 years. So it makes it all the way easy for him to return to the seat of power at the national level. But for the People's Democratic Party, a political entity that now says that it is not going to be part of the coalition, how much of chance does it stand going into that election? That's one question that onlookers and indeed Nigerians are also asking. And then the question, the ultimate one, which for some people is, well, the elephant in the room, is who is likely to clinch the presidential ticket of the People's Democratic Party. Some insinuations are saying that it is likely going to be no other person than Peter Obi, whom they say will likely, at the twilight of things, return to the PDP. Others say, well, speculatively, it might land in the hands of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Now, these two gentlemen are difficult to actually place within the context of this conversation, because first of all, whether or not former President Goodluck Jonathan wants to return to power is not so clear, unless of course you're speaking to those who are close enough to him. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, Peter Obi is a man who has been described as someone who has one leg in the Labour Party and another in the coalition. Of course, the Labour Party officially, given what we know today, is not part of the coalition, unless of course you have, as it were, a chunk of its members who say wherever Peter Obi goes to, they will go. That is particular to the obedient movement. So will the PDP hand its ticket, presidential ticket that is, to one of these two men going into 2027? What does that mean for the APC on the one hand and for the coalition on the other hand? Because this is very important, given that in 2023, following the outcome of that election, people started saying that, well, if, who knows, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi had come together to form a united front, they would have been able to defeat the APC. But then, it is what it is now. None of them won the election. It was Bola Tinubu who was declared the winner of that election. So what lessons have politicians and political parties learned from that electoral exercise 2 years ago? All right, whether it's the coalition or the People's Democratic Party, and then the individuals within these political parties, because let's not forget in a hurry that all of these parties have their divisions deeply rooted in them, and it is such that until these divisions are addressed, these differences are reconciled, these parties are not likely going to see much of appreciable success at the polls in less than 2 years' time. For example, the Labour Party is now in a place where it is even difficult for ranking members of the party. That's interesting to say to you categorically whether or not Peter Obi is still a member of the party. And then you take it to Abia State, where Governor Alex Otti and Peter Obi are also teaming up on the one hand, having made Nnamdi Usman the, as it were, interim national leader or chairman, if you like, of the Labour Party. The Bure-led end of the party, the Abure faction of the party, now says that, they are the bona fide leaders of the party. As a matter of fact, Julius Abure, himself a lawyer, is the de jure national chairman of the party. They've held a few meetings here and there the last couple of weeks. For example, Peter Obi was apparently absent from all of those meetings. What are the implications of these developments? But again, this is all geared towards 2027. But just to mention, this is very important too, the Continuous Voter Registration, CVR, of the Independent National Electoral Commission has been on for days now, started on Monday and has been on. Please, if you have not registered, you intend to move your PVC to a new location, or you have discrepancies you would love to reconcile with your card. This is civic, this is a duty for you as a citizen. Be sure to contact the closest ANEC local government office, or you can look them up on the internet to be able to do that. You also want to follow the news, because ANEC talks on the news every now and then about these issues, all right? Well, that's what we're leaving the program today. Remember the views of our guests across all of our programs, including here on Global Morning, their opinions. And all of the newspaper headlines that we present to you are just as published by their respective publishers. On behalf of my team who have done an amazing work this morning, making Global Morning a possibility, I say thank you for watching. I'm Uyi Agmofwegwe. Bye-bye.